Hello everyone, it's Gary here from the Survival Code, hoping your 2026 has started well. We have some new music on the way this year, so we thought we'd make a new video, a more long in-depth video than we usually do, looking at how we make our songs as a two-piece, how it's evolved since we were in 4 and 3-piece bands, how we use backing tracks, and how you could too if you don't already in your music. So who are we? We are Survival Code. We're based in London for nearly 15 years. I'm from Ireland, clearly, but moved to the UK to make this band, and we've been going pretty strong. We're best known for our song So Serious, which is 2 million streams on Spotify, and for a band our size, it's very credible in fairness in our world. We've had 6,000 listens a month for the last 4 years on Spotify. We had 25,000 listeners a month for 3 years just after So Serious dropped. So we've been very lucky to ride the wave of that success for a while. It's really helped us relatively on our tours with fellow bands and really gain us credibility, to be honest, in this world of numbers that matter on streaming platforms. So that's who we are. We started as a 4-piece in 2011, 2012 on Holloway Road in London, and we had whittled down to a separate 4-piece after that for our first album in 2015, then a 3-piece for an EP in 2016, a different 3-piece for our album in 2017-18, which was called Hopelessness of People, and that's where we found our feet as a 2-piece. We started incorporating backing tracks as a bass initially, because we can't make bass player friends jokes. It's just easier ever since then to stay as a 2-piece. So when we dropped the bass initially, we never really intended to keep it as a 2-piece, but that's how we stayed. We always thought if we gained enough commercial success, we could drop a bass player back on stage. But as well as the ease of recording, it has lent itself to being really easy for touring. Both Simon, our drummer, and I can get in one car, one hotel room, and all our gear can go in one car as well. So the economies of scale of a project like us has helped us survive as long as we have, being around 14 years, 3 albums, 3 EPs, with a new EP on the way. A lot of great bands have gone along the wayside on that journey, to be honest, just on the basis of the costs are so high and the rewards are so little, especially with the streaming modernity. So songwriting, song music, let's get to that point. So we write our songs on a layered basis. We've never really recorded as a live band, but for a couple of demos in the early inception of the band in 2011. Because we're a 2-piece, that's never been more important to encompass what we need to. We tend not to worry about the amount of layers we're putting in music. We want the songs to sound as strong and as good as they can, to give them their best shot, basically, without going silly. It can't be out of this world stuff that's included, but it has to be stuff that, adds value regardless. So, get to the point. How do we select our songs? So, every time I have a riff, I record it on my phone with a video, on a selfie video, every single time. Over the years, I realized voice notes and taking notes and physical writing the riffs down by frets and so on. 6 months, 6 years later, you often forget the pattern of the rhythm on your right hand, or you just forget if you're playing dissonant chords, where your fingers were exactly, because they're often creating awesome sounds just by bending and playing with what actually sounds fair and reasonable to the human ear. So yeah, I've a selfie video, so you can see a couple of versions of that here, walls of selfie videos. We go through them. So whenever a new cycle comes along, we tend to look at the selfie videos. I'll spend a bit of time with them, construct a few songs. So if we're doing an EP is 6 songs or less, so we would tend to get ready about 8 or 9 songs for that kind of offering. So I'd get about 8 or 9 songs together with a couple of riffs and formats, get courses together in a rough manner, and I'd bring them to Simon, our drummer, and we would rehearse them for a couple of weeks. And then I'd put in a couple of demos, actually, myself, just to try and get a feel of which are the strongest of the songs we have. I'd throw down a basic drum beat without miking up too many things, just getting a basic drum beat, because having 2 drummers in a band is handy, and having not to express everything verbally, just the music speaks for itself, and Simon has a great idea from my drum beat what it is I'm trying to achieve from the song. So he can then run his own way and take the song as he wishes, but it's a great inception point and starting point for both of us to have that kind of unspoken understanding, which is great. So I layer some guitars on, I layer some vocals on, and then we pretty much bring in our producer as well, Matt Hyde, the great Matt Hyde, who's like a band member for many years for us. He's been involved from 2017-18 on the Hopelessness record when we transitioned to a 2-piece. He was absolutely central to us having backing tracks that have worked live ever since, and we've worked with him ever since. Absolutely great guy. So once Matt's involved, he'll have his feedback and a couple of suggestions we're happy to listen to and try out, whether it's changing middle 8s or whether it's changing courses, halving songs, doubling songs, whatever he suggests, we tend to listen to and give it a shot, if nothing else. So then we get around to booking in a date to record the actual songs in earnest. Let's say we'll record 5, maybe releasing 5 songs this year. Maybe that's a clue. So what we tend to do is we get all the drums down first. Most bands, even when you're recording, in any format of number of members, you will probably get the drums down first, as it is the backbone of the music. We tend to over-record drums. Like if we think we might have 6 songs on the EP, you definitely put the 6 songs down day one with the drums, because all the mics, all the inputs, all the levels, all the setup, one is so taxing and timely, as you know yourself, when you do it. But two, as well as that, the tonality will be hard to match if there's 2 separate sessions ultimately. So it's always better to overdo the drum session, capture as much as you can. So we tend to use our own studio these days to record our drums. We're quite lucky. We bought a lot of mics that mirror studio mics, but much cheaper versions of them. If you have any questions about the mics we use, let us know. I'm more than happy to share it. But we use about 15 or 16 inputs with 4 drums, including a bass drum, and any number of cymbals and focus mics. So we use a Scarlett Focusrite i1820, and we use i18 i20, and we use a Behringer Ultra Gain as an ADAT tether of it, so it gives us 16 tracks. So it's great. It's been lovely to us in many recording sessions, and Matt's very happy to work here, thankfully, and it records lovely in our rehearsal room, so we're very lucky to have the less lack of pressure. So once the drums go down, which will be the main focus, and Simon here playing, you can see him a little bit, it's a whole day's work, setting the studio up, getting all the mics right, and getting the drums right. And then the edits thereafter, you'd probably put down about 3 versions of each song when you're well rehearsed, and you probably will get them, like, each take about 70 to 90% bang on. But there's always going to be another take that has a better part, so you'd probably copy and paste that in to the ultimate final session to make it the greatest version it could be. Then we can put the guitars down, which comes over to me again. I'm bashing the guitars down. We use a Kemper for that. We've been lucky enough for the last 10 years to use the same Kemper, same settings. So it's been very consistent for our sound for obviously 10 years or so. So it's something I can just get on with myself. We often put the leads down at the same time. Some bands would focus on the bass next, which we do after the leads. But at the end of the day, you just want to have as much of it down as possible. And when we're in guitar mode, I tend to find it's easier just to get all the leads down as well. So why not? Then, as I say, comes bass. Layer the bass then on top. So once the bass is layered down, you have pretty much everything in the song apart from vocals. When we get to the studio, we like to be about 90 to 95% prepared. Every song structure, everything's ready in terms of, we roughly know the main everything, vocal line, lead line. We even have ideas of backing harmonies. But we often find that's where the real magic is in the studio, especially in collaboration with a talented producer like Matt, where you're looking for a backing vocal in the chorus that raises it and lifts it and makes it extra special. We do like having a little bit of scope for those kind of spontaneous studio moments, and they're my favorite, so when I get my chance to, of late, I've been doing a lot of the backing vocals myself. I've been relying heavily on producers up to this point, up until this album, or this EP, to be honest. I've always used producers to help exclusively with backing vocals. It was probably my weakest aspect of what I've done for years. But actually, in fairness, because I've been working with such talented producers, especially the likes of Matt, I've learned a lot. So it's become my favorite part in a way, because it's the most, as I say, you can kind of find all these cool answers. After the main vocals are down for each song, I might spend 3 to 5 hours per song then adding any numerarity of like backing vocals, which might just be like an octave lower, an octave higher, like, falsetto, a whisper, a spoken word of the main vocal line. So that's quite a lot of extra vocals, and we're going to double all of those, as well as we always double the guitars and double the bass as well. So in the harmony section, you might even have thirds or fifths. Then you might have like doubles or quadruples of them, depending, or octaves of the same harmony, depending how rich you want it to be. So I'll give you an example here of like one of the more extreme versions of what I threw at the wall for one of our upcoming songs, without any context of name or otherwise. But you get a full idea. It's like a 22-piece choir. Listen now.
I want you to see me, please, the way I am right now. Spend too much time isolated.
So you get the point there. Most of that won't be used. It's going to be cut down, chopped down, and reduced significantly in almost every section. But that's what I'm throwing at the wall as my first in earnest. That's not tuned, that's not quantized, that's just the very raw version of what I would record in the room, as you saw in the pictures come out a moment ago. After that, it all goes back to Matt. He has a look at it, he produces it and masters it, and we're good to go. And we have music out this year, we have a number of songs, we've lots of news coming out. We have a gig on March 21st with Luna Kiss and Glass Pawns. Do check that out. If you have any questions about what I've said in the video, or the pictures I put up, or the inputs or the mics we use, or backing tracks in general, do let us know. When we started in 2017-18 using the backing tracks, that's the last thing I'll say, it was a bit of a faux pas. There were many musicians in the room side glancing as we played, kind of wondering, where's that bass coming from? Is that in the backing track? And it was a bit incredible to a degree. We could feel it in the room. But nowadays there's so many bands with MCs and drummers on stages without even any musicians, but music coming out of the speakers. And as long as the performance is strong and good, and it's all together adding to the same thing and not leaving a whole gaping question of what's happening, it's well worth having and well worth trying. And any questions in that sense as well, we're happy to help. Best wishes, The Survival Code.